I'm going to say a headline to you. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
I would love your genuine reaction. Super Mario Galaxy movie casts Donald Glover as Yoshi.
I say, okay. That's interesting. In my mind, like, Yoshi doesn't say anything except Yoshi.
Geoff, is Yoshi black?
Yes.
What is sound? Justin.
Our eyes meet. It's an emotional connection. You know, I love playing women. Could you leave? You're right in my eye line. Let's start again. Geoff. And welcome to BANTS.
And Geoff, award season has finally ended. It's been months. It's been months. It's over now. The Oscars happened, and we're going to talk about it.
It was a long slog this year.
It did feel like extra long, and maybe that's just because this is our second year covering award season. We've done it before, but it's over. And, you know,
there.
I'm not that mad. I'm not that mad about it, about the Oscars.
I'm not mad either. Well, you're especially not mad, but we'll get to that.
We will get to that. But how was your weekend other than the Oscars?
I don't know. My weekend was fine, but I want to talk to you about this.
Okay.
Have you heard of Luscious Massacre?
No, I have not, but tell me about it.
Luscious Massacre is this. She's a drag artist from Houston, Texas area. She is a big Mexican big girl, and she is just hilarious. I've been enjoying her on social media. She was on The Bald and the Beautiful like a month ago, and she has such great one-liners, and she does a show that it's called Drag Investigations, and she just goes around like to just like random stores like the Dollar Tree, Ross, Target, Bed Bath and Beyond, and she's just like, honey, what is this? And she's like holding up stuff to the camera, and it's like, this is adorable, honey, we got to get this, it's only $3, that's a good deal, honey. And she's like, we got to see if we can find ourselves some deal trade while we're out in these streets, honey. She's great. I love her. And then she has all these like, she has like a soundboard that she uses to edit her videos.
Sure.
And she's got all these little like noises she makes. Like one, she goes, ee. And this other one, she just like goes, don't do it, little girl. And then she goes, brick. You know?
Brick?
Brick. That's what they call the like non-passable cross-dressers. So the guys that are just like make really ugly women. Like I'm a brick. I make a very ugly woman, as you know from seeing me do drag a couple times. It's tough.
I'm not dipping my toes into those waters.
Into doing drag, Justin?
No, into saying who it is and is not passing and whether or not that makes you an ugly woman. I feel like that's a little bit touchy. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Cautious straight over here, everybody. Put that on the cautious straight count. That's one.
Is that an archetype? Is that an archetype of people?
Yeah.
I just think that every human is valuable, Geoff. You know? Do you disagree?
I do too. I'm just saying there are some bricks out there.
You're just saying some of them are ugly.
I'm a brick, cool. And I'm proud. Anyways, you need to watch that. What did you do this weekend?
I was at a wedding this weekend. I had a great wedding. Shout out Jacob and Maggie. Went to their wedding on Saturday. It was out in Maryland by Annapolis, not in Annapolis, but nearby Annapolis by BWI. Yeah, it was wonderful. I had a great time.
You like got married. My friends got married by the airport.
It was not right by the airport, but the hotels that were closest to the hotel block that we stayed at was like a BWI airport because it was just like the cheapest option that was nearby.
Yeah.
And then we took like a shuttle to the venue, which was like maybe 20-minute drive away. Wonderful, like seaside, or it was really on the bay. It was on the Chesapeake Bay, but venue. Very beautiful.
What's the name of the venue?
I don't want to dox my friends on a podcast.
Doxing? What do you mean?
Do you not know what doxing means?
Yeah, but it'll have passed by a long time by the time this comes out.
It was a venue on the Chesapeake Bay.
Okay, very secretive.
Nice.
Justin also wouldn't tell me the name of these people until today.
You didn't ask.
I asked you whose wedding you were going to, and you said dojo people.
Oh, well.
That was the text I got back from you, dojo people.
Well, that is true.
Justin hates to talk to me.
I didn't realize you needed
Justin's
PPI.
like, if we're not monetizing our friendship, it doesn't exist.
I don't know if that is really true.
I think it's true.
The word monetizing might not be factual in this particular
context.
Well,
you're like, if we're not recording, you don't exist to me.
Whoa, that's definitely not true.
You got a text and you pulled a Westworld. You said, that doesn't look like anything to me.
I responded with accurate information. And we were texting throughout the entire Oscar telecast with our other friends.
That is true. We absolutely must do this. We need to have like at least one. We have to at least do it once. We have to do like a rewatch podcast or a watch podcast where we just like record ourselves. Like we did High School Musical with our friends a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny as fuck. And Oscars last night was also very funny.
It wouldn't be that hard. I think like if we get a big enough audience, that would be some fun like bonus content, like watch-alongs.
What is this bigger? Justin, that's going to get us a bigger audience. People will love to see those clips.
I think you overestimate how many people are engaging with watch-alongs.
No, Justin, you are under engaging. I like to watch is the most popular thing that Netflix puts out. They average like 3.2 million views per video.
I'm just saying, listen, other podcasts, they do occasionally put out watch-alongs. They're like the least watched episodes of their podcast.
Well, we have nowhere to go but up, Justin. We got nowhere to go but up. All 50 of our weekly listeners will be pleased to join.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Okay, well, Geoff, we can move on to some hot topics.
Okay, let's get into it.
First, Geoff.
Yeah.
I want to talk about somebody who was featured a few times at the Oscar ceremony, Anne Hathaway.
Vampire.
It's going to be a big year for Anne Hathaway. She's got, I think it's like 6 or 7 movies coming out in 2026.
Does she really?
Just off the dome. She's going to be in The Odyssey.
Oh, right.
She's going to be in, of course, The Devil Wears Prada 2, which was like her bit at the Oscars.
Let's talk about this. We have to get into that.
And then she's going to also be in Mother Mary, which is the A24 film directed by David Lowery. We've talked about it on the pod before.
I'm very excited for that.
Well, get more excited because the first single from Anne Hathaway, which is featured on the soundtrack of Mother Mary, was just released. It's called Burial.
This is your burial.
This is not just interesting because it's Anne Hathaway, but the song was written and produced by Charlie XCX, George Daniel, and Jack Antonoff, who are all pop characters that we're really interested in here on the pod.
I don't know who any of those people are.
Never heard of them before.
Mm-mm.
So maybe you're a bit of a malignant doppelganger situation because Geoff would absolutely know who Charlie XCX is. How dare you? Imposter.
J'accuse.
Have you listened to the song?
Justin, what are your thoughts on this song?
These types of songs are always kind of interesting when there's like a fictional pop star that is making music and then it comes out as a part of the soundtrack. So it always makes you think of like, what artist in real life is this supposed to be? And listening to this song, I mean, obviously we have these real life artists that have written it. So like Charlie XCX is a touch point. But what comes to me almost immediately listening to this song is Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
It sounds like Disease type Lady Gaga or like Fame Monster type Lady Gaga. It is like a slow driving beat, kind of vaguely gothic lyrics and imagery about teeth and like a black suit and like the color red. And the album artwork for the single is also very Lady Gaga. It's like this blood red album cover with like this abstract headdress that Anne Hathaway is wearing. So I do think this is a bit of a Lady Gaga pastiche.
I agree.
Creatively, it's like, it's catchy. There's nothing that's that crazy that's going on about it. It's hard for me to get behind like a fictional artist without kind of like knowing what the story of the film is, you know?
Do you remember Ashley O from Black Mirror?
I think so. Yeah, I've definitely watched that episode, but it's been a while.
Miley Cyrus was playing a pop star.
Yes.
Hey there, ho, and I'm ready to go. That song is always like playing faintly in the background of my head.
Damn, you got a lot of stuff going on in there.
Justin, there's too much help.
Yeah, I think there's actually a diagnosis for that. Yeah, this song, I mean, I'm not like super hype about this movie because solely of the song. I was already excited.
I was like, excuse your tour mouth.
But yeah, I thought this was a cool experiment, and I'm very curious to hear what the rest of the soundtrack album sounds like. Because, I mean, these are 3 people whose music I love.
Right.
And it's a great match for Anne Hathaway, who actually is a really talented vocalist in her own right. I think maybe she doesn't have quite the sauce that like Lady Gaga has, where she puts a little bit of fun on like her delivery of these lyrics.
Yeah, because Gaga's kooky wacky.
Right.
Like above everything else, raw talent, absolutely. Gaga's also kooky and wacky and has a very unique and strange point of view.
Yes, I agree. And I think that's like, I mean, it's almost the same conversation we have when we're talking about AI art and artists, quote unquote, where it's like, if there's not an artist behind it, like, why do I care about this. You know,
Yeah.
like it's kind of about the human, and without knowing the character that is singing this song in the world of Mother Mary, it's hard for me to really connect with it at this point.
Sure. That's very fair. You know what? I really love it when there's like an artist within the film being portrayed by somebody that we know, an actor or singer.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Gaga did that during A Star Is Born?
Yeah. Yeah. You've talked about the songs from A Star Is Born.
Some of her songs from Allie, they're really
Yeah.
good. Her character Allie, they were very good.
Yeah. You've talked about that on the pod before, and they are good. And I think that part of what makes them good is that we know who Lady Gaga is in the real world.
Yeah.
And like her character in the film is kind of a play on that. And also like we know the character in the film. So like that also adds a little bit of depth and texture to the character as well.
Yeah.
So I think that like it's just hard for me to get behind a song in isolation without knowing what the character in the film is. You know?
That makes sense to me. Anne Hathaway, I can't believe how booked and busy she is this year. She's got, you said 6 or 7 films, and this is like got to be like her 20th year of like acting, right? Because like what year did the Princess Diaries come out? Which I think was her first big break.
I don't even know.
That has to have been like 2000, 2001 maybe? So it's really amazing that she's had such longevity. And by the way, seeing her on stage at the Oscars, she was absolutely phenomenal. Very funny. She looked gorge. And you know what? I wish for myself, Justin, to have enough money in the next 5 years to get the kind of work done that Anne Hathaway has had done. Because it looks so good. She's fucking snatched.
Talking about vampire, yeah, for sure. She looks incredible.
For real. I think a little bit of tox or Dysport. I think maybe like a brow lift. And I think probably some biostimulators. Because her skin is supple and tight. You know?
I do know.
I
saw her at the Oscars. You mentioned The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Justin.
Let's talk about that. What's your thoughts?
Okay. The promo that they were doing last night for The Devil Wears Prada, the Oscars, was good. Anna Wintour was funny.
She was good.
Anne Hathaway was funny. The writing was good. That second trailer that they were playing, I saw it a couple days ago, and I was like, oh no. I'm a little bit afraid about the quality of the movie because the second trailer was so bad. And it also had basically the undercurrents of like, oh, I can't say this anymore because I'll get canceled type of humor. And I was like, we're not doing this. This can't be what Devil Wears Prada 2 is.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I think that Meryl Streep's character would be the person saying that in the world of 2026. You know, I know that she's obviously based on Anna Wintour, who is not like that, but Miranda Priestley is like a little bit different. Like she's not exactly a one-to-one comp to Wintour, I feel like.
She is not, but I feel like that is a little bit beneath her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I do think that like Miranda Priestley is pretty cold, but her whole thing is that like at her ethos is that she has been a chameleon her entire career and has been ahead of the curve and anticipated change before anybody else did. Mm-hmm. So it's disappointing that in the film we're like seeing her no longer having that ethos. Like that part of her character has been like lost in the pages, at least from the like little bit of the trailers that we've seen.
Yeah, I think that the thing that stood out to me in the second trailer, we've talked about kind of the aesthetic of the film and the way that aesthetics have changed in the last however many years since the original.
Why dynamic range cameras?
Right. Even besides that, I do think that the difference between the first teaser and like this trailer is that they gave like 30 seconds or maybe like 15 seconds or so to a Miranda Priestley like almost monologue to try to emphasize like Meryl Streep's role in the film at the end. And I thought that was like probably right in theory, because that is why people come to see those movies, or the original movie. Like that's why people find it so appealing, is her character and her performance. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. Like it feels a little bit like we got everybody in the same room. So like, let's try to make the magic happen again. And I'm not convinced that the lightning in a bottle has been recaptured, you know?
I agree with you completely. Part of what was great about that movie is that they did make this movie with the intent that it would do fine, but didn't know it was going to be a huge blockbuster hit. And because they weren't even aware about that, they were in no way paying fan service, which I think is also a problem of like doing any kind of a sequel to something that was a monumental success.
Right.
But also it was like extremely current and trendy looking. And I do not feel that what I've seen so far in The Devil Wears Prada 2 kind of like stands up to that. Like the energy, the ethos of it is just not there. And I think it's a shame. And I think that this is a great film. Or this film would have been a great opportunity to shoot something super cool, super like dynamic looking that was on VistaVision. I feel like if they filmed this movie in VistaVision, it would have really elevated it in a different and unique way.
Yeah, or like even just like a film, any kind of film
yeah,
format.
Shoot on film. That's fine. Yeah, this is not a movie that should be shot with these dynamic range cameras, the digital of it all.
And I will say, like, we talk a lot about film versus digital on the pod. Like, things look gorgeous because they're on film. There are filmmakers, and it is harder, I think, but there are filmmakers that can, and cinematographers that can use digital cameras and make them look as warm and inviting as a film camera. Like, David Fincher is incredible with digital formats, and not a lot of people can do that, but
you just got to let the darks be dark and let the lights be light.
Exactly. And I think it's just easier to not do that.
And you gotta do real life lighting rigs.
Right.
Come on.
We'll probably be covering both Mother Mary and The Devil Wears Prada 2 on the pod.
I think so. I think it's a safe bet.
Yeah, unless one or both of them is like horribly depressing, you know? That's the only situation where maybe we wouldn't be, but I suspect we will be.
You know what, Justin? If The Devil Wears Prada 2 is really bad, we should just cover the first one.
I'd be down for that.
A lot of people will be talking about it, and it's a pretty great movie that stands up. Well, Justin, speaking of blasts from the past,
okay,
you sent out a really cute little graphic the other day to our group chat, and I want you to talk about this.
I'm happy to talk about it. We are not a gaming podcast. However, there's one game series that we did an entire episode on. It's a love that Geoff and I both share.
I want to be the very best. No one ever was.
That's exactly right, Geoff. To train you is my real test. Is that the lyrics?
I think so.
What's up, y'all? Editor Justin here. Before you close the podcast in rage, just want to clarify that the actual lyric is, to catch them is my real test. To train them is our cause. Let's get back to the show. But yeah, it's our real test as a podcast. And the newest Pokemon games, Pokemon Winds and Waves, are the names of the two new Pokemon games that are coming out in 2027. They were just announced by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company.
Oh, 2027?
Yeah, it's quite a while. There's going to be a long lead up. I mean, Pokemon games have been in a weird place, and I think a lot of that is because they felt the need to put them out every single year, and they didn't have a very long development timeline. So I feel like...
You said pump the brakes?
It's actually a good thing that we're taking a little bit of a hiatus between mainline Pokemon games. We didn't learn that much about the games. We just kind of know it's in the same idea of the previous game, Scarlet and Violet. It's going to be in 3D, open world. It seems to be set in like the Philippines or whereabouts. It's like a archipelago setting.
Love that.
It looks like we may be able to like dive underwater to catch Pokemon.
Oh, that's exciting. What a fun new development. Get your scuba gear on.
It looks gorgeous, and it's going to be exclusive to Switch 2, which I know you're not excited about as somebody who doesn't have a Switch 2.
You know, Nintendo, if you're interested in sponsoring and sending me one for free, we'd love it.
bantspod@gmail.com. Send us an email.
You know what? What's your favorite water Pokemon?
Ooh, my favorite water Pokemon. I kind of like, do you know Milotic?
No.
She was in Generation 3, so Ruby and Sapphire.
Okay.
I'm calling her a she because I envision her as a female Pokemon.
Okay.
But they can come in male and female varieties.
Of course.
It's similar to like a Magikarp Gyarados situation where like Magikarp evolves into Gyarados. Magikarp's ugly. Gyarados is like this big, strong, scary dragon looking guy.
Magikarp is ugly. Wow.
That's like the whole thing with Magikarp. Rude. He's like weak and kind of silly, you know?
Carp.
Yeah, exactly. Feebas is similar. He's like this kind of ugly duckling looking fish Pokemon. And then he evolves into this like almost Dragonair looking, gorgeous.
Oh yeah, Dragonair
Pokemon called Milotic. So that's the one that jumps to mind for me. Big fan of Milotic. What about you?
I'm partial to
Dugong.
Love that bitch. We go way back.
Early Pokemon, they were just calling Pokemon by animal names. Seal, Dugong. They're like, it's close enough, you know? We just change the spelling. We're good.
And they weren't wrong.
I think Dugong is like an oft-forgotten Pokemon. But speaking of the creatures themselves, the Pokemon, Geoff, the reason I'm bringing it up today, Pokemon Winds and Waves, is because the biggest thing we learned about these games are the 3 starter Pokemon, which are...
Name them.
The grass Pokemon, Browt, who is this kind of grumpy little chick with a little leaf eyebrow that's a little bit mad. There's also Pombon, who is the fire type starter, who is a little Pomeranian cutie.
Yeah.
Orange colored, very cute.
Love.
And then there's Gecqua. And Gecqua is the water type starter. She feels like a she to me.
Yeah.
Gecqua is a blue little gecko with some pink eyes. So maybe like a poison type or a psychic type evolution.
She's got those sleepy eyes like me, you know, they're like kind of half open all the time.
Yeah, she's a little bit like she's sneaking around maybe.
There's stuff going on. You don't know about Gecqua.
So, most important question.
Yeah.
Who are you picking?
Well, I think Browt is very cute. He's a brutish sprout.
That's right.
And I like that. I like a little diva with a big attitude, you know?
I do. I know that.
You know, I'm partial as a fiery person and a fire sign. I am partial to fire Pokemon. But Pombon looks just a little too dumb and vacant behind the eyes.
Yeah.
Much like most small dogs. And so I think I'm going to go with Gecqua because there is a certain je ne sais quoi about her.
Yeah.
She's alluring to me. I'm interested. I want to know what she's got going on.
I think Gecqua is probably like the best design. Like she is the most interesting.
Very cool looking.
I do have a bias towards grass types. I always pick the grass type starter.
Same.
And I feel like Browt, there is a certain like pluckiness. I use that word to describe Egg in Dunkin' Egg, but there's a certain pluckiness to Browt.
Yeah.
Where he's like cute and he's trying his best to look tough, but you know he doesn't have anything to back it up. You know what I mean? Have you seen the meme of Browt in a black puffer jacket?
No.
There's a meme of him just like mean mugging with the little like grass eyebrow, just going.
I love that.
In a little black puffer jacket. I'll send that to you after the show. Love Browt. So I got to go with Browt.
Okay.
I'm definitely picking Browt, but Gecqua is a close number 2. Pombon is kind of like the fan favorite right now because people love dogs.
People do love dogs.
I think it's just a little bit basic. I think it's just a little bit too simple. Yeah.
You know, we had Eevee, you know, and then what was her fire type that she
Flareon.
Flareon. We had that. That's like enough of a fiery dog for me, you know? Then there was that other giant, like shaggy, kind of tigery looking dog.
Arcanine, which literally has canine in the name.
Like you said, they weren't creative the first round. They're like, I don't know, I guess we'll call this one a dugong. I guess it's a canine. I guess this dude that just waves his hands around is Mr. Mime. Sure. Okay. He doesn't talk, so that works.
He's literally just a mime, so we're just calling him Mr. Mime. You know a good fire type Pokemon from the first generation, though? Ninetales.
Oh, I forgot about her.
A great Pokemon. Love Ninetales. Something magical about her.
What about Charizard?
Charizard, a little bit played out.
Wow.
Sorry. More of a Venusaur guy myself.
Oh, yeah.
Love the big fat boys.
What was the solar beam?
Solar beam.
Yeah. I fucking love to bust that shit out every single time I could.
I don't know how to segue out from I would love to bust that thing out every time I could, but we're going to take a hard pivot here.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about something that's a little bit of bad news, which is an update from one of my favorite franchises, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh.
So you may remember that Buffy, of course, ended many years ago, but there was much excitement about a reboot of Buffy called Buffy New Blood that was greenlit for a pilot at Hulu.
Yeah.
And this was going to star Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy. So it was going to be, you know, a lot of theory crafting about this might be like a passing of the torch from Sarah Michelle Gellar's Buffy to a new vampire slayer. And I should also mention Chloe Zhao, who was heavily featured at the Oscars. Of course, she was nominated for Best Director. Her picture, Hamnet, was nominated for Best Picture. She was the director of the pilot and was heavily involved as a producer in the project. But sadly, after the pilot was made, Hulu made the decision to axe the show. So it has been canceled. Sarah Michelle Gellar announced it on Instagram. Geoff, I know you're not really like a Buffy stan, but you did watch the original Buffy film.
I did.
With me for a episode a few months ago.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this cancellation?
Well, it's interesting because it sounds like there was just a lot of people behind the scenes who were not able to get on the same page about the show. And I think it would have been cool if they were able to redo it, but I'm kind of glad that Hulu said, no, we're going to pass on this because we don't want something subpar going out, you know? There's enough turds out there that need polishing already.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I did not have very high hopes for this reboot when it was first announced until Sarah Michelle Gellar said, I'm going to be a part of it. And to me, this is the role that made her. You know, this was like her breakout role. Brandy's a huge fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar. So am I. I think she's underrated as an actress. She's been good in like kind of some genre stuff that's come out recently. I just don't think that she would be a part of a show that she thought was going to be a failure or would not live up to the original.
Yep.
So that gave it a little bit of credibility in my eyes. I did think that Chloe Zhao, who is known for her like naturalistic style, was a strange choice to direct the pilot. I know that she's a fan of the original show, but she has a very specific sensibility, and I'm not sure that that matched with what I envision Buffy to be. Not to say that there couldn't be a different version of it that would work, but it doesn't surprise me that there may have been some creative clashing behind the scenes here.
But Buffy, I think, was like a little bit like it was a cable show, and it was like a little bit campy.
Right.
Like I think it leaned closer like a sci-fi thing.
It did, absolutely.
Than it did like even to like what most people would think of like traditional fantasy. And like in my mind, like Chloe Zhao might be a good pick for like a fantasy film. Buffy kind of straddles the line, I think.
That's a great read for somebody who has not watched the original show, because I do think you're absolutely right. I mean, Joss Whedon, who of course went on to make the Avengers films, was the showrunner of the original Buffy.
Right.
And he has a very specific sensibility himself. That's where the sci-fi comes from. It's very comic book storytelling.
Yes. And the comic book quips too.
Right. And Chloe Zhao had a really bad time making Eternals, which was, of course, a Marvel film. So it wouldn't surprise me that she was not gelling creatively with this team. She said on the Oscars red carpet, she was not surprised that it was canceled. So I don't really know what that means.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know the tea. What's the real deal? I got to do a little sleuthing. I got to tell you, Justin, I'm not using it every day, but I did download TikTok again.
Okay.
And I'm going on there every now and then just to see what's going on, you know, keep up with the trends and whatnot. But that's where I always find my blinds. Instagram is just like really not doing it for me. You know, I tried the shorts, I tried the reels, YouTube shorts, Instagram reels. Doesn't hit like Talk does.
You need the uncut shit straight to the bloodstream, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let me take a sip of my DC.
And let's move on to what I thought was a fun update, Geoff. I'm going to say a headline to you. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
I would love your genuine reaction. Super Mario Galaxy movie casts Donald Glover as Yoshi.
I say, okay. That's interesting. In my mind, like, Yoshi doesn't say anything except Yoshi.
Geoff, is Yoshi black?
Yes. It does make sense in that way. Yoshi's definitely black.
Okay.
Because he's what? Indentured. Okay. That's how they love to see us.
Damn.
That's how they love to see us.
Damn. You heard it here first, team.
And everyone's like, oh, all the Yoshis look the same. People say that about black people too. They love to say that. It's rude. It's not true.
So true. This was a commentary the whole time.
Damn.
And we didn't know it. It was right under our noses.
Shigeru Miyamoto, you're in big trouble.
Miyamoto's canceled.
Yeah.
For this racist caricature, Yoshi.
That sounds like a BuzzFeed listicle already. I love it.
This is we got to post this. Clip that right now. This is rage bait. This is going to do numbers. Listen, the Super Mario films. There's been one other one. Of course, there was a huge like meme moment when Chris Pratt was announced as the voice of Mario.
Crazy.
Hilarious moment in the culture, honestly. Did love that time. This is a similar thing for me where I'm like, what's he going to be doing? What's Yoshi going to be saying? Because Donald Glover is like a pretty great voice performer, and he is also just like a funny guy. So I feel like I'm so curious to see what Yoshi is going to be like as a character in this film.
I can't wait either, because I really want to know, is he going to have like a talk, like, is that going to be a conceit of the films that he says Yoshi, but he's like able to speak with all the rest of the characters? Like, it'll be very interesting. I can't wait to see that. It comes out soon.
It does. I mean, it's kind of surprising that he was cast this late. This is like pretty breaking news. It happened like last week, I think.
Really?
Yeah, the news only happened last week, and I think that the movie's supposed to come out this summer. So,
oh, I thought it came out in April.
Oh, it does. It comes out April 1st.
Yeah, I was just going to say, didn't we have this conversation?
It's possible.
Justin, how insane would it be if I remembered something and you didn't?
That would be crazy. It's totally possible that we've had this conversation before. But yeah, it's coming out April 1st. Maybe he recorded the lines like a while ago and they just announced it now.
Yeah, it's like a little boost.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. They said we got to get the black vote in here.
I feel like Mario transcends race, you know? That's the only way that Chris Pratt got cast as Mario. He's not Italian.
Okay. All right.
Keegan-Michael Key is Toad.
They love to keep the black people as peons. I'm telling you.
This does remind me a lot of the studio.
This is actually like a plot point of like episode 8 of the studio, I think.
Yes, like imagine if they accidentally cast like Kenan Thompson as Donkey Kong.
Uh-oh. That would have been crazy.
And they were like, wait.
So funny. Wait, why is Kenan Thompson not in Super Mario? That feels like a huge
It feels like
oversight.
It should happen, right?
Yeah. Kenan Thompson does a great voice performance in the remake of The Grinch from like 2018 or 2019 as like one of the neighbors.
I haven't seen that in full.
It's very funny. He's very good at it.
He's just great. Kenan Thompson is like a legend, and he should be in more stuff.
Justin, I can't believe that I didn't tell you guys this. I was on Etsy the other day and I was like, I need artwork for my house because I've had like the same like 2 things on my walls forever. You know, I'm not a huge art person in my house because I'm so mercurial with my decor. I'm like, I don't want to commit to something.
You like to keep it moving. Yeah.
I do. I like to switch things out a lot. I sound like that meme. I have the only 24 karat Labubu. I found this amazing print of Kenan Thompson, and I'm forgetting his name. It's not Kel Mitchell. It is Nick Cannon. When Nick Cannon was on all that. So Nick Cannon and Kenan dress up as like these absolutely ratchet characters that they played on SNL. And I got it for my bathroom, and I can't wait for it to get here.
Ooh, I love a good piece of bathroom art. You know,
love funky bathroom art.
There is an art to that.
Yeah, it's fun. I was debating between that and the a still of Melissa McCarthy shitting in the toilet from Bridesmaids for the bathroom.
That's also pretty good.
I also have really been into. Colleen put me on this. The Barbie art. Have you seen these?
No. Is it like actual Barbie dolls?
Yes. There's this artist who like makes like very detailed scenery, like diorama type scenes with Barbies, and then like makes really cool photography with them, and it's humorous.
That's cool.
But I was like, that could be fun for the bathroom. There's like one that's like a black Barbie with cucumbers on her face and like a face mask, and she's like poking her head out of the shower curtain.
That's fun.
Very funny.
Does this person have like Instagram or like an Etsy shop or something?
He's like a big artist. Like he sells like these original prints for like $7,000 a piece.
Oh shit!
But he's doing fine.
Yeah,
I just learned about it. It's not like a new thing.
$7,000 a piece. Okay, well maybe not for me then.
Yeah, we're not going to be posting that.
Okay,
and of course I couldn't afford that, so you know.
Well, Geoff, you mentioned Bridesmaids.
I did, yeah.
And I think that leads us directly into our Oscar conversation. So let's take a quick break. We'll come right back in a few minutes, a few seconds, and we'll talk about the Oscars.
Sounds good. And we're back.
Geoff, we're so back. And the culmination of award season has occurred. The Oscars, the Academy Awards. Yeah,
of fashion.
The absolute pinnacle of culture. Movie's biggest night. Cinema's biggest night.
Justin, it's cinema's biggest night.
The movies are back. Listen, I thought this was actually pretty good awards-wise.
Yeah, diverse.
Before we get into the winners and losers, let's talk about some of the outside of the award stuff. So first, red carpet. And I know this is your bag, Geoff. Any thoughts about the looks that we were graced with last night?
Grace is exactly the right word, Justin, because I believe that we were treated to a visual delight, a spectacle, if you will, on this year's red carpet. Now, there have been many red carpets in the last year. There have been many red carpets of the Oscars. 98, in fact. But I got to tell you what, this was definitely one of the best fashion-wise. Let's talk about Kate Hudson. Did you see what she was wearing?
Unclear why she was nominated, but looking good. Looking great.
Damn. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. She looked incredible. She was wearing like a seafoam green dress. It was like bedazzled sequined. 24 carats of green diamonds worth $35 million around her neck.
Jesus.
It was form-fitting. Perfect color for her. I said 10 out of 10. Kate Hudson, you really owned that shit.
Okay, on the men's side, there's been a little bit of controversy about this.
Okay.
The good kind of controversy. Pedro Pascal. I thought his look was great. He had like an all white tux with this like very large floral brooch.
Chrysanthemum.
Brooch. I think the controversial part is that he lost the mustache. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the mustache and the look? Or the lack of mustache?
I love Pedro Pascal. I'll say to you what I said last night. Now he just looks like a podiatrist from Westport. I just am like, there was something about the mustache. And I don't even really, I'm not like a person who's generally attracted to a mustache. There was just something about it on him that worked really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And also, quite frankly, it made him like look more.
I was just gonna say like a normal guy, like a guy you would see on the street.
Relatable.
Like I think a mustache is something. It's like a accent to your face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Some people can pull it off, and some people really can't. I'm in the latter category.
The mustache are the eyebrows of the frenulum.
Sure, I would agree with that. And some people have like great eyebrows of the frenulum, and some people don't.
That's exactly true.
I feel like Pedro Pascal is somebody who we've come to know him with facial hair.
Yeah.
And it's like a little weird to see him without facial hair.
It's like when you're little and your dad shaves his mustache for the first time and you see him and you're like, who is that?
Or like people who always have like a nicely cut beard.
Yeah.
And then they shave it clean and you're like, oh, you're like 10 years younger and you actually don't have a jawline. What's going on? Yeah. Exactly. Pedro Pascal's still a very handsome man, of course, but
I do love that chrysanthemum moment. That's fun.
It's really fun, yeah.
It's fun. Okay. I want to talk about a couple of other people. I love Teyana Taylor. She was wearing Chanel. She looked incredible. She's just
always
really killed it this award season. And I mean, of course, in terms of looks, but she also just tends to be like the center of joy in every space she's in.
That's very true.
Like even when the entire cast was up on stage for the Best Picture win, I kept looking at her because she was having such nice reactions and little side convos with people. It was very cute.
She was having so much fun. She was cheering for every single person. She was cheering for Ryan Coogler, for Michael B. Jordan, for Paul Thomas Anderson, for every single person that was up on stage. So
I loved it.
She's a joy.
I also think Gwyneth Paltrow really killed it. It was fun to see like celebrities that we've known for a long, long, long time turn out on the Oscars red carpet and look incredible. I do not know who she is wearing, but it was a white like satin gown, very simple, no sleeves. Sleeveless dresses were a big trend this year.
Yeah.
The dress has really cool, very high slits on each side of her. And I noticed it when she was walking out to present the Best Casting Director Oscar. And I was like, whoa, that is a dangerous slit. And I love that.
Yeah. Listen, Gwyneth Paltrow, she still got it.
She sure does.
She's hot, you know? She still has it.
It's very true. And Chase Affinity.
I was just about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
At my watch party, there were like audible gasps when Chase Infinity came out because I think people who saw One Battle After Another saw like, first of all, she was portraying a teenager. So like there was a not very sexual character intentionally. And I think the movie's better for it.
100%.
But also she was half of the time she was like, you know, sweaty, dirty, like not very tidied up or cleaned up. Mm-hmm. She cleans up well, it turns out. She was a model before she was an actor. And she looked like insanely gorgeous, beautiful hair, beautiful makeup, a beautiful, like very light purple dress, also sleeveless. She is gorgeous. And I think she is like gonna be one of our stars moving forward. I think so too. Was such a warm presence on the red carpet, on the stage, whenever she was giving interviews. She rules. And it was cool to see her out there. And she was wearing gorgeous lavender custom Louis Vuitton. Loved. Bummer that she didn't get nominated at the Oscars. I think that her performance will go down as like one of the underrated ones this year. Part of that is strategy because she was going for a Best Actress nomination and not a Best Supporting Actress. It's just unfortunate because I think she was incredible. The last one I want to talk about is Wunmi Musaku also wearing custom and hand embroidered Louis Vuitton. She was wearing David Yurman jewelry. She had an emerald green dress, one of the few sleeved gowns that I remember from the evening. Mm-hmm. She looked absolutely incredible. She is such a beautiful person, and this was a perfect color for her. I had no notes. Loved her hair too. She's gorgeous. Yeah. Face card for days on Wunmi. Face card for days. I thought that Ryan Coogler looked really great. Those braids are clean. I'm not sorry that I'm not as in on style as you are, so I can't really describe the style of lapel that his tux had. but it was like a continuous width down the entire like suit jacket. He had braids that were styled in the shape of a treble clef, which aligns
very cool,
very nicely with the themes of Sinners, and was just very, very clean. He was the coolest person in the room, probably, at the Oscars. You could tell whenever he spoke, whenever he was on stage, the crowd was just so loud. Like the room was going crazy for Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, I could see in the audience where he was sitting during the like all the cutaways, like when the ceremony was like starting and in and out. And there were always like people like bent over seats talking to him and then like running back to their seat as the broadcast started up again.
Yeah, he's the man.
He sure is. Also, I'm looking at his tuxedo, and what you're describing, Justin, is called a shawl lapel. SHAWL. And I didn't notice that detail, but I do like it. It looks really good on him. His grooming was on point too. I also, while he was accepting his award, I kept looking at his fingernails. They were so pink and shiny. I was like, damn.
Healthy.
Yeah, healthy nails. Healthy nails.
We love to see it. We do.
We love to see it. Well, Justin, that's our red carpet roundup, I think.
We love the red carpet roundup. Let's get into the ceremony itself. So this was Conan O'Brien's second hosting gig. And I think we have to separate this into
Absolutely.
Conan,
yep,
and then the televised ceremony.
Let's talk about it.
There were a lot of technical issues.
Way too many.
I think it was clear that there was some chaos behind the scenes. There were a lot of really strange camera motions.
How about them zooming into Kylie Jenner's boobs?
Yeah.
During a Timothée Chalamet reaction shot. Zooming into the boobs is crazy.
The one that stuck out to me, there were multiple instances of this, but the one that stuck out to me was at the Best Original Song Award, where they just straight up full volume started playing the Stop Talking music over one of the songwriters of the song, like as he was pulling out the note from his lapel pocket.
Awful.
It was honestly like disrespectful, and it wasn't the only time it happened.
Yeah.
There were moments where it seemed like Conan didn't know if he was live or not, or maybe he had been thought he was live and he wasn't, and then he had to redo it. There was just a lot of disorganization. Sound was weird. Like when Barbara Streisand was doing the In Memoriam segment, her voice was very, very quiet compared to the piano. Everybody in my like viewing party was like, "What is this supposed to be happening?"
Yeah.
It was very technically bad.
You know what, Justin? We need a bunch of pimply, like 16 to 18-year-olds from your local high school drama department to like hyperfixate on the AV issues that were happening at the Oscar. They would have turned it out.
Yeah.
We would not have had any of the nonsense that we had to deal with. Bad sound at the Oscars during a song. That's what the whole thing is. You gotta get the music right. You have one job.
It was tough on the technical side.
Out of control.
What do you think of Conan, though?
Conan was fantastic. And I want to give him so much credit because A, that's a very hard job. It's a difficult room. You have to like get the show going on a fun note and then keep that energy up despite whatever happens, whatever upsets, whatever moments like the slap occur.
Yeah.
You have to keep the show moving and not let it run over too much, which of course they fail to do this year as they do every year.
Right. And is it worth cutting off speeches to save like 30 seconds? Like, we all know it's going to run over. I'd rather you cut anything else other than the speeches. Like, that is what we're there for. And like, sure, like it's important for speeches to be concise, and we like concise, short speeches, but like, especially for smaller below the line categories where it's not like, I don't know, like big movie stars giving these speeches. It's people who this is their one opportunity to like thank their friends and family.
Yeah. Give them plenty of time.
Give them what they need.
Yes. Here's the thing. I think I should just produce the Oscars because none of this shit would happen. Here's what I'd say. I would say the In Memoriam section, let's tighten it up a little bit. But otherwise, I think overall it's good. I like that they do songs. I like that there are certain tributes to like really monumental greats, who have passed.
And we did lose a few in the past year.
A few, for sure. Redford, Keaton, O'Hara, the rest.
Yeah.
So I think that it's good to take time to do that. And I like that. I want each recipient of an award to, unbeknownst to them, this is the important part, unbeknownst to them, be given an additional 30-second cushion. Because I think that people do get caught up in the emotion of it all, in trying to remember everybody, and fumbling to get their reading glasses or their speeches. I also think this. We need to station some ushers in the actual aisle, and their job is to, like the lady from SNL who dresses all the hosts, get them from their seat to the stage as fast as possible. I'm sorry, I know it's emotional. You get a 5 seconds to embrace your spouse or significant other.
You're +1.
And then you got to go. We don't have time for high fives, for hugs, for kisses, for words of love between multiple people. You got to get your ass on the stage, because at the end of the day, we're also doing a television show. So I want everyone up there, but I want them to be given more time for their speech.
Technical issues aside, a couple of notes on Conan, who I thought was pretty funny. Their opening sketch, which I think you said you missed.
I did, but I did watch it at the end. Very funny.
Was pretty funny. And I think that was a little bit of a cue that Amy Madigan probably was going to win Best Supporting Actress. Conan was in Aunt Gladys drag, which I thought was pretty funny. The gag about, like, this is way too much white makeup, and that the makeup artist is like, that's actually just your skin, which is, that's a classic Conan bit. There were multiple moments where technical stuff was happening, and he, like, made light of it in his kind of dark humor Conan way. Like, when they had cut somebody off by retracting the microphone back into the stage.
Crazy.
And they, like, tried to zoom out, like, the camera people, they tried to cut to a wide shot so it was less obvious. And then they, like, decided, actually, fuck this, let's put the microphone back up. And they put the microphone back up and the lights back up. And then the guy gave his speech. And then it cuts to Conan, who's laughing. And you're like, I wonder what's going on here. And then Conan, I think, was like, you got to admit, retracting the microphone on somebody who's actively giving a speech, pretty funny. And it honestly is funny to imagine the physical comedy of, like, somebody bending over slowly trying to stick around actually, with the microphone.
Justin, that's great. That would be good for hacks.
That'd be good for the studio, Yeah. There's so many good applications for that bit. So I think that given the technical difficulties, he did pretty well. And I do think that Conan is a little bit of, like, a black licorice thing. I think that if you don't like Conan's humor, then you might not have liked the ceremony. But I am I was a big, like, Team Coco guy back during that whole debacle. So I'm in the bag for Conan for sure.
I think it's great. What is great about putting an improviser up there is that they are ready to roll with whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And so I love that they have Conan up there for another year. He's good at that shit. And you know what? Here's what I want to get rid of, Justin.
Yeah.
We don't need long, drawn out, celebrity fueled bits that aren't funny to introduce categories.
Yeah, this was tough. And it was especially tough this year. This was aired on Hulu / ABC, which is, of course, owned by Disney. Yep. And the Disney, like, synergy branding stuff was especially bad this year. I mean, there was
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, Grogu and the Mandalorian tie-in. There was this extended Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. bit where they were, like, trying to do banter. It wasn't really that good. And this is obviously, like, an Avengers Doomsday thing. Yep. There was also, Kimmel actually was pretty good. Kimmel coming on was a good example of Disney synergy, but it just didn't feel great. It felt much more shoehorned in than it normally would have. And I guess this is, like, what we get in this current media landscape, but
I hate it.
I don't have to like it.
Yeah.
I have two more things to say about the ceremony. One, there was a tie.
Wild, right?
And I think it's crazy because just this year, you had brought up the potential of a tie. And I was like, I don't think that's ever happened before. And I had to come in an editor's note to be like, it definitely has happened before.
Point for me.
And then it happened again.
Another point for me.
Our influence. It's it's crazy.
I have to think these things up.
Kumail Nanjiani, who was the presenter during this award, first of all, very funny guy.
Yeah.
And Conan, he caught a stray from Conan when he introduced him. He said, this guy has the body of a Marvel Comics superhero and the voice of a Marvel Comics collector.
Very funny.
And then Kumail clearly had not been told about that before when he came out. So he was like, damn, if the shoe fits. And then he also was, like, actually very poised and calm about how to deal with the tie.
I was going to say.
Because I can imagine that's a stressful situation as a presenter.
He did exactly the right thing by being like, hi, there's a tie. This is not a bit. This person's going to come up first, then this person.
Here's what's going to happen. Yeah.
I love that. I love any situation where someone's like, I am in charge now, and I have a plan.
You're like, Kumail Nanjiani actually kind of hot right now in this
literally,
moment.
I'm not even kidding. I literally was like, Is he kind of... because I just really like that. Make a decision, stick by it, and explain what's happening now.
It was a wonderful
Expectations
moment and
managed.
very well handled. Yeah.
He's getting a point for that one.
Point for Kumail. I also want to mention the musical performances. There were 2. I was happy that they didn't perform every single nominee.
Thank God.
It was the 2 good songs. It was...
Oh no. Diane Warren found dead.
Golden and I Lied to You from Sinners.
Yeah.
And I was pretty impressed with the Sinners performance.
So good.
That is the best moment of the movie.
I agree.
Stand by that. And they basically just recreated it 1-to-1. Thought it was magical. Miles Keaton was incredible live, just like he was in the film.
So good, so handsome.
Yeah. Well, the Demon Hunters did a great job performing Golden. Huntrix.
Yeah.
I don't really have as much to say about that one other than I remember listening to Golden and being like, that's a really high note. I bet this is hard to perform live. And the 3 ladies that make up Huntrix absolutely smashed it. It sounded great vocally.
The audience also loved it. It took a very long time for that audience to warm up, I have to say.
Yeah.
Because there was some funny stuff that happened in the beginning during Conan's monologue, and people were not living for it. And I'm not sure what was happening. Maybe the sound was really bad in the room too.
There were some weird moments like where there was like cheering from, it sounded like up in the balcony, and then Conan responded weirdly to that. I was like, is there a protest? Like, is this... It was very weird. There was just very strange stuff going on technically.
There's a lot of strange stuff going on, and it made things sweaty. And if it's like obviously sweaty, I'm not having fun. I'm taken out of it, you know?
Yeah, right.
To recap, Oscars, there were some real highs here, but you got to get your AV together. You got to get it together.
AV is so important, actually.
Get those pimply teens on it. They will run that shit tighter than the fucking Navy.
Now, Geoff, let's get into the meat of the matter here. Let's get into the big 6 awards. So let's first talk about supporting actor.
Yeah.
This went to Sean Penn as Colonel Lockjaw in One Battle After Another. What'd you think about this win?
Boo! I mean, okay, Sean Penn is a great actor. I can't even get into it. What did you think?
I predicted Benicio del Toro here.
Yeah, me too. Much more compelling character.
We made our predictions a while ago, right after the nominations came out. And it was at a time when Benicio was getting a lot of like warmth and buzz for his performance in One Battle. If you remember, when I had just watched the movie and I came out of the theater, the first thing I thought was Sean Penn's going to win an Oscar for this. And I should have stuck with my gut on that one, but I had heard all this buzz about Benicio, and he is like a more interesting character than Lockjaw. And I think I was kind of wishing that he would win, but it just didn't come through. Sean Penn, of course, was not at the ceremony.
Yeah. Well,
he's kind of over. He's an interesting guy.
Right. This is my thing, is like, he's like kind of notorious in Hollywood for being an asshole. And I'm just sorry. Unless you're like actually ill or you have like a family emergency, you should fucking be there. And if you're not there, it should go to the person who gets the next most votes, because I want to see people do an acceptance speech and I want to hear what they have to say. And it's just like kind of disrespectful to the institution and all of its members to just not show up because you don't fucking feel like it, which is literally what Kieran Culkin's like pondered out loud.
Yeah, he was like, or maybe he just didn't want to come. So rumors are saying that he's in Ukraine, and you know he has post a lot of acting success gotten involved with making documentaries and chatting with people who are in countries that are at war. So that's a worthwhile cause, and I don't want to disparage that, right?
Sure.
But I do think that Sean Penn has a certain vibe about him that's almost like, I think that like this type of art is like passe, and I don't think it's actually that important, and thus I'm not going to these award shows anymore. It reminds me of that conversation in the studio where like Seth Rogen's character is talking to the doctor, and he's like, what's a more important job, being like an executive at a movie studio or being like a doctor that saves lives? And it's like a funny bit because they're both like completely self-absorbed, right?
Yeah.
But it is true that like both things can be important. And like, obviously we need doctors, we need people to save lives. And like, if you had to choose one, you'd pick the doctor. But like, what is life without the joy of art? I feel like Sean Penn is just past that. This is his third Oscar. There's only 4 men that have 3 Oscars.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I don't know the other ones. I'm not an Oscar nerd like that, but
point for me.
Point for you for sure. What's up, y'all? Editor Justin here. The other two actors, other than Sean Penn and Daniel Day-Lewis, who have won 3 Oscars, are Jack Nicholson and Walter Brennan. Let's get back to the show. It was a bummer that he didn't accept the award. I think that it is a great performance, but I would have liked to see Benicio personally.
Me too. I think he's a much more compelling and interesting character than Lockjaw is.
A more nuanced performance, too,
Absolutely.
I think. Yeah.
Damn. Let's talk about something that was great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Best Supporting Actress went to Amy Madigan for her role as Aunt Gladys in my favorite movie of 2025, Weapons.
And let me just say, the fact that the Oscars opened with a Weapons sketch shows that it is an absolute travesty that this shit was not nominated for Best Picture.
I have to agree.
Get F1 off of my screen. Put Weapons in that slot.
I'm not watching that.
Every time the F1 came on, like a little preview or whatever, I'm like, boo.
Boo. Fucking
Who cares about this? Weapons
so lame.
Belonged there. And it's great to see that Amy Madigan was rewarded for the only nomination that film got, because it deserved more.
It did.
The stars aligned for Amy Madigan. She had just come off winning the SAG Award for Best Supporting Actress. So she kind of was the favorite, surprisingly, even though she was the only nominee from Weapons. What do you think of her speech?
Okay, the speech was not great. It was a little rambly, a little disorganized, and I was kind of like, but I did think it was funny that she's like, I was thinking of what I could say while I was in the shower shaving my legs, and now I'm wearing pants.
Yeah, it was like very wholesome auntie stuff, you know what I mean? Like she was kind of just talking to you. Yeah,
and the speech wasn't bad. It just like wasn't like what I, and maybe wrongly, had like look to expect as like something like poignant said.
Yeah,
you know, like
it definitely wasn't poignant.
Yeah,
she opened with a cackle,
but it was like fun. It felt like Gladys is like my great aunt, or like my like coworker who's like a little bit older, but we have a tight bond.
Kooky. Yeah. It was fun to see her winning, absolutely, and she deserves it.
She deserved it. She was so good in that movie. I mean, she's the center of that movie for sure.
Okay, now we're getting to the interesting stuff.
Yeah.
This is where I think things started to heat up.
Couple interesting things happened.
So Sean Penn had won for One Battle.
Yeah.
Supporting actor. By the time the Best Actor was announced, we weren't sure, at least I wasn't sure, who was kind of leading in who may win Best Picture, whether it be Sinners or One Battle. The number of nominations implied that those were kind of our two frontrunners in the Best Picture race.
Right.
I don't think Leo was really competing in Best Actor for One Battle. It was a great performance, but like the precursors were not there for him. Didn't seem like he was going to win.
Yeah.
So this was a race that was really between Michael B. Jordan, who I don't think anybody, when the nominations were announced, thought that he would be in the lead.
Right.
But he won the SAG Award. Sinners has been surging in the precursors ever since the nominations, ever since the record-breaking 16 nominations.
Yeah.
It has been surging in a way that I don't think people expected. So Michael B. Jordan was one option.
Because people want to see it.
People love the movie. It's like a fan favorite. People love Ryan Coogler.
Yep.
People love Michael B. Jordan. And then, of course, the number 2 actor, I think, in this race was Timothée Chalamet for his role in Marty Supreme.
Right.
Let's talk about who won first.
Let's talk about opera.
Let's talk about who won first,
Let's
and then maybe we
opera.
can talk about opera, because I want to start with the positive,
Okay.
And Michael B. Jordan ended up winning Best Actor here. This was, to me, the moment of the night. I think that it was enough of a surprise that I felt something when it happened.
Yeah.
And
it was a surprise.
Michael B. Jordan is just he's like an old school star. I forget what podcast it was I was listening to, but somebody compared him to like Harrison Ford. And I think that's a really good comparison, because Harrison Ford is not the type of actor who like transforms in a part. You hire him because he's Harrison Ford and he just has the riz, And Michael B. Jordan just has the riz, and Ryan Coogler can really bring that out of him in a way with his writing. And that's, I think, why people love him as a star. I think that's why people love Sinners. I think he deserved this award.
Yeah.
And his speech was also wonderful. What were your thoughts on this one?
Loved his speech. Thought it was so cute. He took his mom and his dad to the ceremony too. Thought he looked fantastic. Loved his
always does.
Mao collar suit jacket. That was a great little change up. Yeah, I mean, he's been in the game for a long time too. He's like another like 20-year veteran of Hollywood. Right. I think his like breakout was in The Wire, and he was fantastic in that as like an 8 or a 9-year-old which is just astonishing to think of. Like, that kid had star power, like, oozing out of him from an early age. And, you know, it was kind of cool to see unexpected, too. And, like, he was the lead in, like, a kind of a horror movie.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool and unusual for somebody to be even recognized by the Academy, never mind to win the trophy.
For a horror film. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally agree. And I think because of his long career, this was almost like a it's time thing, even though he's relatively young.
His year.
He's almost 40, which you wouldn't know from his appearance because he looks incredibly good.
Looks better than us.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time. He's well loved, and it's not really a controversial pick to say that you like Michael B. Jordan. And I think that's a great transition point to Timothy, who in a lot of ways has been running the most interesting Oscar campaign in a long time for Marty Supreme. We have talked about it on our Marty episode. We talked about it in our Best Films of 2025 episode.
Yeah.
We were into it, and I think that the culture was into it until suddenly the culture was not.
Well, I think there was two things that happened. There was a little bit of like media saturation where it was like, okay, enough. Well, actually, I think three things. So that was the one. The second is I don't think that as many people like watched this movie as they thought was going to. I believe that because of the amount of money that was put into press, that they probably, the studio probably felt that this was going to become a blockbuster, had the potential to. I wouldn't call it a blockbuster.
Right. I wouldn't call it a blockbuster. But this was a massive commercial success for A24. This was, you know, we talked about it on the Marty Pod. It's one of their highest grossing films. I do think it wasn't quite as broad in its success as something like Sinners.
Right.
Sinners was like an absolute, you know, like we're talking about blockbuster, like an absolute success. Everybody saw that movie. I think Marty Supreme was heavy on the Gen Z. I think a lot of young people saw Marty Supreme, and a lot of other people were like, don't really need to see the Timmy C ping pong movie.
And I also think that, you know, then the third nail in that coffin was Timmy's kind of, maybe, let's call them unconsidered thoughts on different art forms.
Okay, let's get into this, because I have some thoughts, okay? This is a great example of context death in our culture, because this was an hour plus long interview between Matthew McConaughey and Timothée Chalamet that was, I think, done with Variety. And this like 10-second clip went viral like a couple of weeks after the interview even aired on YouTube or whatever. And I also think that like the meaning of the quote is actually lost in a lot of the discourse. People took his comments to mean like, oh, I think that like opera and ballet are dog shit, and I don't think, you know, I think they're not worthy of like consideration or love or whatever.
I didn't take it to mean that.
What he actually said, Matthew McConaughey asked him a question about, you know, people have shorter attention spans now. Netflix is putting all their action scenes at the beginning of the movie instead of at the end of the movie. What do you think about that? And Timmy was like, well, on one hand, and I've done this, I love to tell people to go to the theater. Like, I am a evangelist about the cinema and going in person. And then he said, on the other hand, I think we should be making movies for people that people want to go out to see, like Barbie, like Oppenheimer. And he's like, I don't want to have to evangelize for my art form the way that ballet and opera fans have to. And I think that point is true. People are not going to see ballet the same way they're going to see films.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a cultural powerhouse the same way that cinema is. So I think what Timmy's saying is we need to make films in that spirit to get people to go willingly, and not just like as a upper echelon of culture.
I do believe he meant that. However, I also believe that he was like dunking on ballet and opera, because he was basically saying those institutions haven't changed, and that's why people don't want to go and see that crap anymore. Like, he was absolutely saying it like that, like using those as like two industries or examples of the entertainment industry that he does not want to see his art form, which is cinema, go down.
I mean, all respect again to ballet and opera, but when's the last time you went to see an opera?
Well, Justin, I saw La Traviata about 2 weeks ago. That's a lie. I did not.
That's a lie. When's the last time you went to see the ballet? Like,
I did actually see a performance at Brooklyn Academy of Music, and it was a Nutcracker ballet, but that was like 8 years ago.
I know it's not necessarily the best. These are considered like
saying,
high art forms, you know?
I'm not saying that they are the most current and contemporaneous forms of art that we have.
They're not driving American culture.
I am saying that it was an unnecessary stray that these two institutions caught. And that, like, then of course it's like, well, you had to know by doing that, by being like, these forms of media are dog shit, not like mine.
That's not what he said, though. That's what I mean.
Yes, but that's what was going to get clipped, and that's what was going to go around, and that's what everybody would distill the interview into.
Right.
Justin, that's been happening since the dawn of time. That's not a new thing.
It hasn't been, though. That's the
Justin,
thing. Like,
it has.
I don't think it has.
Justin, look back at all kinds of forms of media.
No, but the algorithm emphasizes this in a way that print media did not, right? Rage bait gets more clicks now.
They've been doing that in headlines for years too. Way before you and I were even a thought, never mind born.
But you can't pretend like the algorithms of like Instagram and TikTok are not playing into the dynamic that's happened here.
I'm not saying that they're not reinforcing that, but they are not the cause of it.
I think that it is a feature of human nature to react to controversial things, and that algorithms that are perpetuated by these social media companies are reinforcing that human desire.
Yes, exactly. But that's it from the jump, is that we're conditioned to do this. Humans are also conditioned to like try to synthesize large amounts of information into a simple idea. That's why politicians who have very simple ideas get elected, even if their policies are wildly fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, listen, we agree on that for sure. I guess what I'm just saying is that I think that Timmy actually was making a pretty interesting and balanced point about the state of cinema.
He didn't distill his message down enough. That's the real problem here.
Well, and his point was that you need to distill your message down enough. That was his point, was to make it approachable to people. So
even more ironic that he didn't, and then the wrong message was then taken up by everybody.
Right. But my point is that I do think that...
I get your point.
Michael B. Jordan deserved this win, and it was great to see him win. That's bottom line. I also think Timmy C is going to be in 10 to 15 years a Leo, where we're like, how did we not give him an Oscar before this? You know?
Sure.
Because his performance in Marty Supreme was really great.
Young talent, good talent.
Michael B. Jordan is the type of guy who he's himself in all of his performances, the same way that like Kieran Culkin is. Timmy C is somebody who disappears in his roles. Like those are the two kind of, they're on different ends of the spectrum of actors.
I agree with you.
You know, I really liked Timmy's performance for that reason. He was really embodied as Marty.
I agree.
And he could have won for this. He's one of the youngest actors ever to be nominated 3 times. So
wow. Good for him. Okay, Justin. I like you today, Justin. I think we're getting along today.
I don't think he's a victim
a lot of
here.
The same opinions.
He's gonna be okay, right? Like he's doing Dune 3.
No one is worried that he's not going to be all right. Exactly. No one's like, damn, is this the end of Timmy C?
No one on this podcast. There are some things going around now where it's like Timmy C going back to the fake gay role asylum, like after this loss. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
I haven't seen that, but that's very funny. I love it.
Yeah, so he's going to be fine, but I do think this is a situation where once we're past this particular moment in this like kind of dumb rage baity controversy about ballet and opera, I think we're going to be like, damn, he is a good actor.
Yeah, he's great.
There are actors doing worse shit out there than making these kind of questionable comments in a podcast recording.
Sure.
Okay, so that's Best Actor. Let's move on to what I think was the biggest lock of the night, which is Best Actress.
Yeah.
Won by Jessie Buckley for her role in Hamnet.
Mm-hmm. Didn't watch the movie. Here's what I felt about Jessie Buckley. I felt that I really liked her wig. I felt that I really enjoyed her accent and hearing her speak.
Great accent.
I also feel that she is someone I'm like, oh, okay. I was unfamiliar with your game, Miss Buckley. I think I need to go back and look at your reel.
Yeah.
And see what else you've been in. And I also just want to say this. If we're talking about fashion, I was a little disappointed in this winning look.
Really?
As they refer to them. Here's why. Beautiful woman. Absolutely gorgeous woman. Would kill to look that hot, you know?
Yeah.
That dress was a bad color for her color scheme. It was like a very, very silvery pink and then like a bright, bold, like fire truck red top. There's too much of a difference in tone for those two colors to work well together in those proportions. And together they did not make Ms. Buckley look her best. And that's tough. Interesting, though, that she opted for pink because pink, white, and gold are like the Oscar dress colors.
That's probably why. Yeah, I thought her speech was kind of nice about motherhood, and I mean, obviously that's
beautiful.
a huge theme of Hamnet. She seems like a really like genuine person.
She seems very salt of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way of putting it.
I really liked hearing her talk.
She was kind of like if you know person until Hamnet. You know, she was in I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was like kind of indie Netflix film from a few years ago. She was in the Alex Garland film Men, which I think is like mostly forgotten now.
Yes. Oh my God. I forgot about that film and I keep meaning to watch it.
Fucking weird movie.
I'm sure it is. Dude, men are weird.
It's in that movie especially.
Justin, this is crazy. We have to talk about this. It's a little bit unrelated, but it is also related. It's about men craziness. Male crazy, the epidemic.
I've heard of it. The male craziness epidemic.
Yes. Justin, I don't know what happened. The straights are not okay. I'm not sure what straight dude bros are out here doing. It is crazy to me that somehow they have like popularized the idea, the knowledge of gooning. This is crazy to me. This has been like a gay subculture thing for like as long as I've known porn existed. It is insane that now like straight people and straight guys are talking about gooning in their goon cave. I'm like, what is happening?
There's actually a whole search engine episode about this.
Of course there is. God, is there anything uninteresting that they cover ever? Are they ever like, let's talk about the breeding cycle of dragonflies?
No, well, they try to be interesting, famously. Yeah, so it's an interesting, maybe it's a too positive of a word, but a very strange subculture.
But it's becoming like mainstream because like straight dudes are out here just talking about it.
Well, now it's become even like completely separated from the sexual context, where if you're like gooning over something, it's like you're just wasting time over it. So like that's a whole other kind of like whitewashing of the language, you know, very common like gay to straight to mainstream.
Yes, that's a gay to straight pipeline.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That is a very interesting thesis title, I think. Blah, 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 semicolon, the homo to het pipeline or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Keep workshopping it.
Yeah.
Pieces in your future for sure.
Something.
Okay. That's Jessie Buckley, Best Actress.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into the period where we were like, okay, who's going to win the big awards? Who's going to win Best Director? Who's going to win Best Picture? Is it going to be One Battle or Sinners?
Yes.
Paul Thomas Anderson ended up winning Best Director.
Love to see it.
He had already given a speech earlier in the night for Best Adapted Screenplay. It seemed clear to me when he was giving that speech that he knew he would be giving another speech.
Yes.
We love a concise speech.
Yeah.
We love Paul Thomas Anderson winning his first ever Oscar after a career of, I would say, legendary films.
Oscar-worthy hits. Yeah.
This was cool. Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad about Ryan Coogler winning because I would have loved to hear his speech as well.
I was going to say this was one of those categories that I was like, for this and for Best Picture, I was like, I'd be happy with either.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't really have a favorite. They were both just really good and deserving.
And that's something I want to emphasize. I feel like there's been already so much like horrible discourse about like One Battle being like the less woke or like politically problematic film of the two, and it being like a travesty that Sinners lost. I think that like my high level thoughts on this is that Sinners and One Battle kind of split the awards. I think that they both won awards that they were deserving of. Michael B. Jordan won for Best Actor. Ryan Coogler won for Best Original Screenplay for Sinners. Sinners won Best Score. And the first woman ever to win cinematography won for Sinners.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
I want to make sure I get her name right. Autumn Durald Arkapaw won for Sinners for cinematography. Which is incredible. And these are like all very worthy wins. And I think that it's possible for two great films to be recognized at the same award show.
Yeah. I think that this year, what I loved is that it felt like so many different films that were nominated did get love, attention, accolades.
Right. I've been seeing so many misreadings of One Battle. Terrible shit.
Well, that's the thing too. Saying that One Battle is like less woke is really unexamined opinion, I think.
Agree.
And something that is truly meant for the clickbait, because I think that it's extremely examined, and that's why it's a great reflection of how our society actually is and how people, like human behavior occurs.
Yeah, I saw something that was like, One Battle is such a classic like white savior narrative, and I'm like,
couldn't disagree more.
I didn't realize that Benicio del Toro is white. Weird.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Like, everything about that statement makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense if you've seen the film or engaged with it in any way.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a great Best Director win for Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this also is that Ryan Coogler is really at the beginning of his career. This guy's going to be back in force. I can't wait for whatever film he does next.
He's like a young Scorsese. He's going to always be there, always looking cool.
Mm-hmm. And that leads us to the big award, which is Best Picture. This one also went to One Battle. I think that honestly, the earliest cue for me was when One Battle also took Best Casting. I think I texted you and Ben. I was like, I think whoever wins this casting award is going to win Best Picture.
And you were right. Point for you.
It was a little bit of an upset that One Battle won for Best Casting because Sinners had won the Best Ensemble award at SAG, which you would imagine that's kind of 1-to-1. It's not Best Cast, it's Best Casting.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a surprise when One Battle won then. It was not a surprise when it took home Best Picture. Tiana Taylor putting PTA in a headlock was a particularly memorable moment for me when they won Best Picture. We love Tiana. Any thoughts from you about this win?
I was very pleased with it. It was well-deserved. It's one of my favorite films I've ever seen. And yeah, also loved seeing Maya Rudolph on this camera so many times because she is married to Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the Bridesmaids reunion, which is how we led into the Oscar segment here.
Yeah.
But that was also very fun and funny.
One of the only good bits that occurred that entire night.
Yeah, some of the bits were tough.
So drawn out. Let funny people go on stage and be funny. And I will say, I do think Channing Tatum is actually like genuinely funny.
He is.
But he was really having to carry the entire bit. And that was tough. Just put funny people on there and be funny.
And again, Channing Tatum going to be in Avengers Doomsday. So that's probably the only reason why he interacted with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans in that bit.
Yeah, that makes some more sense. Okay.
Any other wins that were below the line or that we haven't mentioned yet that you want to talk about?
Not really. What about for you?
I do want to briefly mention Frankenstein did numbers in the below the line categories. Took home production design, makeup and hairstyling, and costume design. Mm-hmm. So unsurprising for a Guillermo film. Some of my worst picks were picking against Frankenstein in those categories. Speaking of which, Geoff,
Justin.
Let's talk about our awards competition. This was the deciding awards show for our awards competition.
And it was a close one.
This was decided by 1 point. It was a 1 point differential. It was very close. Geoff and I had a lot of shared picks. So the ones that were pickups were very important. Let's get a drum roll. The winner is me, of course. I won the competition. Geoff, I'm seeing in our show document here, I did not write this, but I'm seeing concession speech.
Well, Justin, that's exactly right. I am nothing if not judicious, gallant.
I was gonna have issues if you said prepared, but
as I'm struggling like every award winner last night to look for my speech that I did actually write. Hold on. Okay. Well, my fellow listeners dear, the contest is over and the result is clear. Justin is the winner of the BANTS Award Show competition this year. And while the results were not what the entire listenership hoped for, we must accept this reality and look to the future and wish Justin well in his endeavors as the winner this year. Earlier this evening, I texted my opponent and congratulated him on his victory. I really did.
That's true.
As discord and tension are cornerstones of this podcast, I will do everything I can to ensure that the peaceful transfer of power to select a special episode topic is physically taxing and emotionally devastating.
Hate to hear that.
While this year's contest has come to an end, the challenges facing us continue. My opponent will continue to recommend we pass time by reading books, provide droning descriptions of video games that nobody but him wants to play.
I don't know about that.
And a third thing, I'm sure. My fellow listeners, may our podcast continue to move forward with the roasting and hilarity for all. God bless.
Wow, that was wonderful. I appreciate the sticking to the rule of threes. Very important.
It's very important, I'm sure.
Yeah, classic speech writing. Okay, as you mentioned, Geoff, this win means that I get to choose a special episode for us to do later this year. Would you like to know what the topic is going to be?
Justin, I do, but I'm very afraid that it's going to be something I really don't want to do or that's scary. Mostly, I'm afraid you're going to make me watch horror.
Kind of the point. It's kind of the point of the bit, right? Is that it's something that you wouldn't otherwise do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm open to discussion, of course. So keep that in mind. My proposal is we both love Damon Lindelof.
Yep.
The showrunner behind The Leftovers, behind Watchmen.
Yeah.
As you know, Damon Lindelof, his big break was the ABC television show Lost, which is a show that I know you have not seen.
Yep.
This is a show that is streaming currently on Hulu/Disney Plus.
Okay. Easy access.
I propose, and this is the big ask here, and we got lots of time. The first season of Lost is 25 episodes.
Okay. You want me to watch the whole season?
I've been looking for an excuse to rewatch with Brandy because she has also not watched.
Okay.
And I would love to discuss season 1 with you. I understand this is a lot of television. I have a couple of backup options available. What do you think?
Justin, I do want to hear your backup options, but I will absolutely do that for you.
Okay.
25 episodes, it's doable.
It's nothing. Okay.
100%. I can do that. I had you watch a documentary, listen to 3 full albums multiple times, and another thing, I think. Oh, Spice World.
It was Spice World. The Spice World was actually the hardest thing in that list because I had to download like the Fandango at Home app and then like bootleg a fucking barcode off of Reddit and then scan. Like that was a whole process.
What you had to go through.
Okay. I'll give you my number 2. And you can choose
just
between
for shits
the
and
two.
Grins. No, this I'm locked in for Lost.
You're locked
I'm 100%
in with Lost?
locked in. But I just want to know.
My number 2, which has its own issues, is one of my favorite films of all time from a filmmaker that I think we both like. I love Jordan Peele. And the film is Nope, which is something that we've referenced and you've said many times that you want to get around to watching, but it may be a little bit too scary. So that was my second option.
Okay. Wow, what a huge disparity effort-wise to watch one film or watch an entire season of a show, of a network show.
We can switch to Nope. Up to you.
No, I want to watch Lost. I've never watched it. Well, I've never watched the whole thing. I've watched like parts of episodes or like an episode, I think, maybe. But I want to watch it with fidelity and integrity.
Okay. Well, there you have it, team. Look forward to a Lost Season 1 episode in your near future.
Justin, you didn't ask what I was going to do if I had won.
Oh, well, I kept it secret last time when I lost, but I think you also talked about it on the pod.
Oh, wait,
unless you changed your mind. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I was talking about the Bravo reality shows.
It was like a set of mid or early 2000s reality shows episodes,
Me
right?
and Bobby Brown, Victoria Beckham Coming to America.
Yes.
Tabitha Salon Takeover. Give me a keys. I'm taking over. That's what you said earlier today.
Maybe next year.
And you won the pod. You won the pod award.
We'll continue to do our awards competition, of course. And Geoff, we'll continue this podcast in just a second after we take a break, and we'll come right back with some What's Goods.
Sounds like a plan, partner.
And we're back.
Justin, we're so back. And we're at the point of the pod where we've gone over our little catch up. We've talked about some hot tops, things in the culture everybody needs to know about.
Mm-hmm.
And we did our in-depth, I would say, review and dive of the 2026 Oscars.
We certainly did.
And now that we've covered that main topic, there's only one segment remains. There's only one segment remains. There's only one segment remaining. And that's a little segment called What's Good? So, Justin, why don't you tell me what's good with you this week?
Well, Geoff, in the spirit of rambling about video games that nobody else wants to play.
Oh, boy. Set your alarm, listeners. 2 minutes.
I played a video game this week. It is a new game that just came out in February. It's called Love Eternal. This is a short, real bite-sized experience. It's maybe like somewhere between 3 and 5 hours long from start to end.
Okay.
It's only $10, so you can pick it up on Steam or on the Nintendo Store. It's playable on the original Switch. This is largely developed by solo developer Toby Alden, who is also known as BRLKA. I don't really know how to pronounce that, but that's their
I don't know either
pseudonym.
Okay.
And it's published by publisher Wisebird, which is spelled YSBYRD. This is an indie developer. I've never heard of either of these, either the publisher or the developer before. This is a weird game. I'm going to just read you the log line that's on the official website.
Okay.
You are eating dinner with your family in the suburbs when the landline phone rings. You leave the room to answer it. When you return, your family is missing and you are trapped in the ruins of a massive ancient castle. How will you escape? And who will you be afterwards? So this looks like an old school platformer. It is a pixel art game.
I'm looking it up.
I don't think you would be familiar with this other game, Geoff, but it reminds me a lot of Celeste, which is like another like kind of precision platformer.
Wait, we've talked about Celeste before.
Have we?
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember in what context.
I loved that game when it came out.
Was it when we were talking about the game with the little mouse?
Silksong?
Yeah, Silksong.
It may have been we were talking about Silksong because it is similar in that it's like a platformer. It's a very difficult game. This is also a very difficult game. It is like a puzzle platformer. It takes a lot of precision platforming. It's 2D.
I love a 2D game.
The kind of gimmick of this one is that you're able to swap the direction of gravity. So if you like were to jump up and then you press another button, you can swap directions so you kind of fall up towards the top of the screen.
Oh, interesting.
Generally, the point is to get from like one end of the room to the other end of the room. And there are a lot of spikes that kill you as soon as you hit them. And it's actually very tricky. And it adds continuously little new obstacles and mechanics as the game progresses. There's these little crystals that if you normally can only swap gravity once before you hit the ground. So like you can't just like swap back and forth and keep going up and down unless you collect this crystal. And that kind of refreshes your ability to change the direction of gravity. So a lot of the game is kind of managing your momentum through these like spike pits, these labyrinths of spikes and deadly obstacles. That's like the mechanics of the game. This game is also really fucking weird. A lot of these platforming games don't really have very strong stories. The story in this game is like a great case for like games as art. It has to do with a feeling of like not belonging, of feeling like an alien in your life and feeling like people don't understand you. There's a lot of like weird kind of Lovecraftian and like Lynchian nightmare vibes. It's almost a horror game at times, this game.
It looks like a horror game. The color story and the design, like the palette is
the pixel art is very creepy, right?
Yeah,
it's like unsettling.
It's unsettling.
There's almost like an ancient Egyptian or like a Mesopotamian vibe to some of the like, ruins in the castle that you're in. It's not really a big spoiler to say that the reason why you're in this castle, you learn this very early on, is that some like primordial entity has trapped you there.
Okay.
That's kind of like the inciting discovery. And then things get even weirder as you go on. The game changes in a lot of ways. It becomes very meta. It transforms from a platformer into like a totally different type of game halfway through. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Interesting.
It's one of the more interesting games I've played in the last few years. And I feel like nobody knows about this game.
Well, I feel like it's getting big on gaming podcasts right now because that's what I just read on Reddit.
Yeah, there are a few gaming podcasts. Yeah, so there's a gaming podcast called Remap Radio, which is made up of people who were once working at Vice and were a part of Vice's gaming content before they got laid off. Vice famously went bankrupt recently.
Right.
So they got laid off and they started their own podcast called Remap, and that's where I learned about it. It's really good. So yeah, I would recommend you check it out if you're into platforming games. It is really hard. So I would level a little bit of caution there, but it is like a really short experience. It's only $10. So like we're talking a latte or two.
That's a great price, honestly. I love that.
Yeah. Love Eternal. It's on Switch 2, the original Switch, and on Steam. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Well, Justin.
Well, Geoff.
I want to tell you about a show that I have been watching.
Okay. Tell me about it.
I have been on Apple TV. They got rid of the Plus. Good. Just so everyone knows, because you might have missed that little detail.
PSA, it's very important, actually.
It's very important. I've been watching Apple TV. I've been watching Shrinking. I talked about that last season of the podcast, so we already know about it. I'm sure you're all caught up and you love it, right?
I still have not watched Shrinking.
You're canceled.
It's on my list.
Okay. Just like Lost is on mine. Except now it actually is. Okay. A show that I've been watching and really loving is called Platonic. This show, I think, is extremely underrated, and I don't think got a lot of buzz. It debuted in 2023. It was renewed for season 2, which came out the end of last year. So I think like December it came out. And it's been picked up for a third season that is probably going to come out in 2027. So the show basically revolves around two characters who are played by Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. The premise of the show is that they're two 40-somethings that were friends in college, and they reconnect after years of not speaking from a falling out. I love the cast on the show. Rose Byrne is so funny and also wildly underrated, I think, as a comedic actor especially, but I mean she's a great actor.
Fucking love Rose Byrne. She's so good, and she is an incredible comedic actor as well.
So funny in Bridesmaids, so funny in Spy. I've heard that she's great in Neighbors, which is how she and Seth Rogen began working together, and they're now in like year 10 of their like collaboration. Yeah. They've like produced stuff together. They both produce this show, and they also both are on screen often together, which is great. The rest of the cast, I mean, it's a big cast, so I won't go through everybody, but Luke McFarlane plays Rose Byrne's husband. So hot. He was in Bros. That's probably his biggest credit. Although that movie wasn't great, he was great in it, and I really adore him. Carla Gallo, who is somebody that I did not know, but does have a lot of credits. She's a character actor, and she's hysterical. She plays Rose Byrne's best friend in the show. And then Vinny Thomas, who you probably remember from, I think like the first time you told me about him was when he was doing, he was posting his bits on like TikTok and Instagram. And he was like doing a bit as if he were a pigeon watching the like a parade or the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade or something.
Yeah, so I can't take credit for that. I'm pretty sure. So I had been seeing his stuff on Twitter. That was where I discovered him back in the good days of Twitter. But I think that you were probably introduced to him by Ben, because Ben loves that. I think it's a gay pride parade.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like a pigeon at Pride is the name of the video. And I think Ben is constantly referencing that. It's a really funny bit, and he's really funny. I didn't know he was in this. That's so cool.
Yeah, he's like I think he's technically, they list him as a guest star, but he's like recurring. Like he's on like 4 or 5 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Other great guest stars for season 2, Adie Bryant, of course, one of my faves from SNL. She's hysterical. She plays, somebody must have had her in mind when they wrote this, because it perfectly like encapsulates her kind of comedy and the like kind of like great like sassy person who takes everything a little too far.
Yeah,
she's great in that show. She's like a publicist who like has low-key a drinking problem. Very funny. Bobby Cannavale, my biggest celebrity crush and Rose Byrne's husband, is in the show for an episode playing a character within the show. Like the show has like a couple of like book series and television shows within it that are like kind of parodies, and he plays a character in one of those. And then Beck Bennett, also from SNL, plays like Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen's third musketeer in their college trio, who comes in halfway through season 2. The show reminds me of like Broad City for adults. Like it's like a grown-up version.
It's a good pitch.
Seth and Rose are like playing parents in their 40s who are people in their 40s who are trying to like cope with parenthood, cope with like failed marriages, cope with maybe having settled in their marriage or in their career, and just trying to like make it in like the rat race of Los Angeles. So it's like the West Coast adult version of Broad City. It's absurdist. There are some really hilarious running gags about like e-scooters and those like automated autonomous delivery vehicles called rovers.
Yeah.
It's like also a really great like satire of capitalism, and especially like capitalism and gentrification in Los Angeles. It's a really, really good show. Very fucking funny. Half-hour comedy on Apple TV, available to stream both seasons right now.
That's interesting to hear about. It's like takes on capitalism. I think that e-scooters are a great symbol of that, which I think, you know, I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched the show, obviously, but I can imagine that kind of tying in thematically as well, that running gag.
It does. Is Seth Rogen's character hates them but uses them all the time because he's running into car issues consistently throughout the show.
Yeah.
And he also hates them and thinks that they're like a bunch of corporate nonsense and tax dodging because they're all like, e-scooters powered by Chase Bank.
Yep.
And so he will like get off the scooter at his location and he picks it up and spins it over his head and then throws it. And it like lands in yards and alleyways on top of buildings. It's very funny.
I think that especially post-studio and post-Rose Byrne's Oscar nomination, this has the potential for like the late season run blow up. You know what I mean? Like, I've always loved Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen, but like I think they are kind of at the heights of their visibility now. So I think that this does have the chance in season 3 to get really big. It's been on my list.
It's not been like promoted a ton either. If I wasn't on Apple TV already watching stuff like Pluribus and rewatching Silo and watching Shrinking, I wouldn't have known that this show existed. And I actually put in a request to our person who downloads movies for us on occasion and put in a request for Neighbors and Neighbors 2 because everybody on the Reddit page for this show was like, if you like this, you would really like them in Neighbors series.
I heard that's franchise. Good too. Yeah,
I never watched it.
Okay, very quickly because this is going a little bit long, but I also heard from you that you recently watched If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
Oh, girl.
And speaking of Rose Byrne,
fantastic in that film.
Okay,
it was very depressing. It felt voyeuristic in a creepy way. The sound design in that movie is really well done. There is a way in which, like, even when the main character, I believe her name is Linda, is talking to other people, they sound so disembodied and far removed from her immediate surrounding.
It's from a very specific perspective and in a very specific headspace of the main character, for sure.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the ending? The very, like, last shot of the movie.
I think I was hoping for more resolution, but I don't think that any part of the movie at any point did I actually think there was going to be a resolution.
Yeah.
Because I really think that this is about a character dealing with like a lot of mental struggles on top of like
life shit.
Yeah, just like the shit that you and I always deal with every day in our lives. The editorial listeners, dear, you're included in this. And like, because that is something that takes a lot of time, of course, there's not going to be like a very satisfactory conclusion in that regard. But the last shot was in a way very calming because it felt like maybe she had accepted the things around her, that she was, so much of the movie she was just in fight mode.
Yeah.
She was fighting to be seen, fighting to be heard, fighting to be for her contributions to her child's care and her family and relationship to be acknowledged. And I felt like her running into should I spoil it?
If you don't want to know the end of If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, just skip forward. You can finish the episode. This is the very end.
I felt like her running into the waves at the end repeatedly was her like actually trying to do one last fight. And like she just kind of got worn out and just like accepted her reality maybe. What was your take on it?
I interpreted it. So there's the running into the ocean thing. That is like almost suicidal almost, like trying to drown herself. And then
like she was fighting to end her life too.
Yeah. And it's like, this is the only response that she knows, the only thing that she is able to do in this moment. Yeah. But then the last shot is you finally see her daughter. And it's like the entire film has been from her perspective and you never see the daughter, you only hear her.
Yeah.
It is thematically in some ways resonant with the end of Marty Supreme, but it felt a lot less children will save your lives or will fix your life, in my opinion. And it felt more like she had worn herself down to the point where she was like, I can't avoid the fact that I have this living being that's dependent on me now. And like, I'm seeing her face and it's not like, well, this is what makes it all worth it. But like, there is something that is good about that, and like, I will try to be better. My issues shouldn't prevent you from having like a good life as a child.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think your interpretation is closer to the truth.
I just thought it was like surprisingly powerful. Anyways, great film, Rose Byrne. I wouldn't have been mad about her winning the Oscar. But let's call it. And next week, we're a little bit late to the Harry Styles party, but we are going to be talking about Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally.
I can't wait to talk about it. I've got a lot of thoughts already.
Until then, Geoff, bye.
Bye.
This has been BANTS with Geoff and Justin. BANTS is created and produced by Jeff Taylor and Justin Benavides. Graphic design by Geoff. Editing by me. The theme music for BANTS is the track Nebraska With You by Sam Day and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And tell your friends. Bye. That was wonderful. I appreciate the sticking to the rule of threes. Very important.
It's very important, I'm sure.
Yeah, classic speech writing.
I really laughed so hard last night when I wrote that. I was like, ha! Here by myself, like underneath. Talking about a goon cave. I'm sitting here writing the speech for like 30 minutes right after the Oscars underneath my blankets.